idiot was saying. Guessing the TV must not recognize this.
You become the target of the surveillance. We're basically they turn on you.
The feds
It happened to me in South Phoenix on some violent homicide.
As we speak, it's been plugged up. So why would I have to put the issue in my court?
Ripping off a lot of drug roads. And it's probably the hardest group I ever followed. As a matter of fact, this guy's wife, like 2 years before, burned my surveillance. Like, they were extremely vigilant. And the reason was...
Alright, so today, guys, we're gonna be talking about how the police follows individuals in the community. And when I say follow individuals, I don't mean like, you know, some big time individuals or, drug dealers, and I mean normal day-to-day motherfuckers. The police is following you. They documenting your every move. They operating like a human version of Google. I don't know what they're doing. That's what's scaring me because, I got a criminal jacket, 16-page rap sheet. This is unglorified information. But I never known them to, just observe this long, waste such resources doing such. So for those people who don't believe that the police is actually out here on Cointelpro times 10 on steroids, take it from, this guy, I don't even know who the fuck this dude is, but he say, how to know if you're being followed, counter surveillance techniques 2020. This is last year. But listen to this dude and listen to how he talk about how he used to follow people and the measures he used to take to avoid being detected, and the measures he used to take once he knew he was detected by said individuals that he followed. So just him stating this shows you that people like myself are not bugging out in regards to feeling like we being followed and harassed by law enforcement or government agencies. It really occurs, and especially if you are out of the box thinker, independent mind, and things like that. Like, you're gonna encounter these things, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So you pretty much get used to it. My TV turned off. Let me get that back on the screen for y'all. And I want to let y'all get into this because I'll probably stop it, talk about it, hey, certain things, because I just can't let it go. Once I gotta prove this because for so long people really think you crazy in regards to this. So I'm gonna just drink my coffee. Y'all can get to know me. I drink a lot of coffee. I smoke a lot of weed. Take it slow. Get to know each other. Stop rushing. I just met you. Hit like, subscribe, and all that funky fly shit that all them other fucking YouTubers say. I'm not really into that shit. I figured my shit is sit around on YouTube and catch a dust until somebody wants to fucking get smarter, okay? So, here goes nothing. Counter-surveillance.
All right, let's look at counter-surveillance techniques. So once you've been following your subject for a period of time, you've been able to develop somewhat of a baseline of behaviors with your subject, at least while they're driving. Now, when they start to deviate from those baseline behaviors, that's when you want to see or be more vigilant in case your subject is looking to draw you out or looking to see how you're reacting. What we're getting at here is maybe the reason they've changed your behavior is because they've detected you. So we're going to go over detecting and eluding the surveillance, at least what the bad guy and bad girls will do. And then also what you want to do is watch for those signs of being identified. Just like I mentioned, changes in behavior that normally you had a baseline established and now they're changing that up.
Now let's stop it real quick. This is a cop or ex-cop or whatever the fuck this dude is, right? Now he's saying detecting and eluding a surveillant. A surveillant is someone who's being surveilled, right? Watch for signs of being identified. He's telling the agents, officers, whoever the fuck it is, to watch out for signs that you have been identified by the person you're watching. Subject will most likely elude the surveillant. 1. 2. Reveal what he or she wants revealed. Or 3. Confront. So they're prepared for you to spot them, and they have measures in place for this. Remember, I've witnessed them operating in teams of 30 on bikes, vehicles, foot, and even on occasion helicopter, burning jet fuel. Yeah, so when you see these cases about these guys and these 3-letter gang members who they've been going to the feds and stuff, and they've been getting investigated for 2 years, like, it's kind of hard for me as a person who grew up on the streets to be moving around outside, and especially a person who's been in prison who can feel the air of tension in the yard, to move around outside and not know that something's a little off, or to know that and to just still operate normally, without, like, what I'm saying, taking precaution, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, preemptive measures. That's the luxury of having an extensive vocabulary. You just change the word with a similar word that means the same thing, a synonym. But yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna let y'all listen to what this dude is saying about how he seems like he's getting off on it. It's disgusting to me that people could come out and just follow you, and this goes into the whole gang stalking thing, but that's a whole nother thing. Y'all stay tuned.
So usually, if a subject has identified you, they're going to do one of 3 things. They're going to either try to elude you, the subject's going to reveal only what they want you to see, or there could be a confrontation, either aggressive, verbal, and those are things we want to avoid. So eluding the surveillance. Pretty much, they're just going to try to lose you. I've had that happen a few times over the years where they just they try to ditch you, or they time a light, or make a turn, or exit a freeway where you're not able to make the move, or the move would draw you out. And what you want to do with these counter surveillance techniques is you ultimately have to decide whether you want to kind of, if they think that you're following them, do you want to just confirm it by staying with them, or do you want to just back off and give it another day? And that's what I would recommend, depending on where you are in the surveillance. When we were following career criminals, if we had a crime and they had stolen property, and we were just waiting for officers to show up, or they had stolen property and they're going to a fence, or basically we wanted to take some type of action, then we're going to stick with them. We'd rather burn it at that point and stay with them than to let them go, because we're letting evidence go. So you got to decide what your objectives are.
I just got to stop real quick. I hope y'all can really see that this guy's face is like 2 different colors. All right. I'm thinking his arms is orange too, but the nigga face is orange. Okay, this nigga is clearly a reptilian. Okay, let's deal with it. Look at this nigga's structure from here on down. Okay, all of this is fake. Let's keep it real. I'm not trying to throw y'all off. It's 2 different wars we fighting. We fighting this spiritual one, and we fighting this physical one as well. But I want to let y'all know what y'all dealing with. They are also fighting us on 2 different planes of existence. So be aware of that. You've seen the Matrix. This is Mr. Smith. Say hi to Mr. Smith. Look, his eyes have been behind shades so long that that's the only part of his body that's damn near still white. The rest of him is orange, burnt from being in the sun, which kills them. They can't be in the sun just frolicking around like us. They'll just die because they probably don't belong here, but that's a whole nother story. Damn, I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing because, I don't want to get my channel banned before we even get off the ground. I have a lot of good information to give to you guys, but man.
But if they're trying to ditch you, then it's a pretty good sign that they're onto you. Now, I didn't put it in here, but I have had where you become the target of the surveillance, where basically they turn it on you. It happened to me in South Phoenix on some violent homicide drug dealers that were killing a lot of people and ripping off a lot of drug loads. And that's probably the hardest group I ever followed. As a matter of fact, this guy's wife, like 2 years before, burned my surveillance. Like, they were extremely vigilant. And the reason is because they had a hit on their head from the Mexican cartel. And so their safety and their life is in jeopardy. And so they're very vigilant on what's going on just to stay alive. And so they're going to pick up on vehicles that are following them. And they did. Like I said, the husband and the wife burned me. And those are probably the last two major burns I took in my career before I retired from the same couple 2 years apart. And as far as I know, they're still out there doing their thing. But,
right on. Fuck.
He basically turned the surveillance on me. Again, like the wife had burned me 2 years prior when I was working the homicide drug.
Hold up, because that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. If you don't spot these pasty, out of place motherfuckers around you, then you need to go to jail. You need to be around them so you can see them and smell them. You need it because you need to know what you're fighting. You need contact with the enemy.
Task force. A couple years later, we ended up supporting homicide when a drug load was ripped off and a person was killed, and the last phone number on the phone was the suspect. And they said, hey, this is the last person the guy called, and we believe he's the suspect in the homicide. And as soon as I heard the name, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, we dealt with this like a couple years prior. And I said, I know where he lives. I'll do a drive-by, in fact, just to see if he's still living where his mother lived. So I went into the inner cities of Phoenix, literally drove by the house as he was walking up to the door. He did look back, see my vehicle as I drove by. I didn't slow down. I didn't give him a hard look or anything. The house is right off the main drag there into the neighborhood. So I just kept going down, circled around, and all I did was watched the driveway. I couldn't even see the car or the house. I just watched the driveway to see if he'd back up. And then I could, my intent was to parallel him out of the neighborhood. And let me see if I can find that neighborhood real quick.
Parallel him out of the neighborhood.
Right, I want you to take a look at this.
Parallel him out of the neighborhood. Listen to these techniques. I'm fucking telling y'all, because now I'm getting mad. I'm fucking telling y'all. Listen to these techniques. The nigga pulled up a grid, a map, and said he was going to parallel the nigga out of the neighborhood. I'm trying to tell you, I go to all these boroughs and these niggas follow me. Be aware. I do all these tactics that he's talking about. Counterintelligence. I call them out. I confront. I show them what I want to show them. I do all these things. But one difference between me and maybe other people know that they're interested in is I don't do crime. So why the fuck are these people following me? It's scary. And it seems to be no reprieve from it when it's the federal government or some super empowered state fucking agency or even city department. It's depressing. I mean, you get into a stance where you just kind of ready to, stand your ground regardless of whether the law is enacted in this state or not. to be honest, because you know no one's gonna die for free or be in prison on false charges and made up moot. So, you know, the older I get, the more I tend to realize that, man, you really have to decide what you're going to do here, and you really have to decide if you're going to be solid or if you're going to kind of roll with the punches. If you're going to be solid, you got to kind of brace for impact, because it's people like this who, I don't know if this guy is a creep, like in his soul, or if he even has one. But if he does, I don't know if he's a creep, because, you know, evil transcends color. You know, color is man-made deviation, from, our spirit self. And evil transcends that. So, I don't know if his soul, if he has one again, is evil, but he obviously thinks he's doing the right thing. And we all know that, a lot of bad things come from the greatest intentions. I'm pretty sure Hitler thought he was doing the right thing as well. And a lot of people now don't agree with that. So, let's get to the rest of this.
Again, I was scouting out this house, right? So we had somewhat of a main road here, and the subject's house was on the north side of the street. Let's say about right here. I'm just using a neighborhood that is it's a few blocks from my suspect. I don't want to give away too much information here, but so my suspect was here. I had come from the north, pulled down the street, and the subject was walking up to the house as I drove by. So I went ahead and crossed over the next street, turned around. It was dark, so all I could see was taillights. I was watching the house, watching for the car to back out. I turned around, I was lights out. I saw the vehicle pull out, and as soon as it started backing out, I pulled up here, went up, and then came over here to parallel it out of the neighborhood. It was actually probably more about mid-block, because I know where I was. I had enough time to go up and parallel the vehicle out before the vehicle would have been lost out here. This is the same car that when I was telling you about the homicide drug task force, like, these were the suspects. This was the parents' house, but like when they left, boom, they left. And as a matter of fact, he had the same car that we had followed a couple years before when I was working on the homicide drug task force. So paralleled him up. I got to the stop sign here, and I looked down, and I was waiting for him to commit south or north, and he stayed there, and I could see him. And so at that point, what I should have done is either gone north and watched in my rearview mirror to see which way he went, and then if he turned south, I would have just flipped around and went after him. But instead, I went straight.
You believe me now?
Which I thought, oh, no big deal, right? You go straight through. I didn't think he was picking up on me at all, but I couldn't stay at the stop sign and wait for him to commit. So I committed and just went straight through. And he immediately went straight through. And at that point, I knew, I didn't necessarily know that he was onto me, but I was just kind of wondering, like, where's he going, crossing straight over, and why hadn't he committed before? So as he got up to the next main road, I was up here, and when he went straight over, I shot up here, and I went south to try to pick him up. And as I went south, he was at the stop sign, so I went through the stop sign. He dropped in behind me, and this is the guy that we were warned from from DEA and other organizations that like, we really need to watch our back or watch our six on these guys, because they will shoot and ask questions later. This is the same guy that took out the assassin from Mexico that was sent up to kill this guy. So we're talking like serious bad guys here. So he started following me through the neighborhood, and as soon as I got down to the main drag, and I was clearing out my radio, there's no teammates even close. As soon as he got down to the main drag, That's when I ditched him. Like I was under surveillance at that point, and I didn't want to have anything to do with this guy. I had no support. I had no reason to really call patrol or anything to have him stopped or anything. I just got out of there, and so.
Call patrol to have them stopped. These niggas be moving around and they just be moving these little fishes around on them. They call ambulances, make them throw their lights on. They call fire trucks, make them screech down blocks. They have the authority to make lights change from red to green or stay frozen in whatever position they choose. They also have this, I forgot the name of the device. I'm going to get y'all the name of the device. But this device pulls all cell phone data, you know, from everybody around. That's why it's illegal. You know, they also jam cell phone towers, which are illegal. So much, man.
That happens. And that's a situation where I was actually, they picked up on me right away. And tell you, this was just like a scout mission, period. And he picked up on me that fast.
Alright, so I don't want to promote this guy's channel. Alright, though. So, yeah, man. Y'all stay up. Know that everything is definitely not what it seems. These people are out here. They got jobs to do, and their jobs are dependent on you failing. So I would suggest y'all stay on y'all P's and Q's and stay just as vigilant and militant and